Hello to all you lovers out there. Welcome to another episode of LoveWorks with Juan and G. And today we are sitting down with Mr. Darnell Moore, activist, writer, and media personality.
I am so excited to sit down with Mr. Darnell Moore and talk about his book that he's working on, about love, about life, and even get deep down into some dark personal issues that he's been experiencing.
Yes. Hello to all you lovers out there.
People always asking us what's the tea. It ain't no tea, baby, can't you see? Loving me, loving you, loving we. Love works with Juan and G.
It ain't no tea, baby.
What's the tea?
It ain't no tea, baby.
What's the tea?
It ain't no tea, baby.
What's the tea?
It ain't no tea. Mr. Darnell Moore,
What's up?
how was your day today?
It was hell. So, getting here to your place, I got soaked. I was wet. My phone is
Your
broke.
clothes are wet?
My clothes are wet.
Where'd you drive? You're not waiting right now.
The air. I went to eat first, though. I don't know. It must be a sign of some sort. Maybe I need to slow down. Like literally run into the car.
Where was you running from? Oh, you was running to the car.
Oh,
Trying not to get wet.
yeah. This is a whole metaphor.
I know, that's why I'm
This
going
could be
with it.
deep
So what you
already.
running from?
I ain't running from nothing.
What you running from in New York? What you running from in New York? What brought you to Atlanta? Let's just start there.
You newly?
Well, yeah. So I am spending time between New York and Atlanta. So I fell in love with it here. I think I might have told you this, but I hated Atlanta for a long time. I had a really bad experience here several years ago. But
A bad romantic experience?
it wasn't a romantic experience. You ready to jump in already?
Yes!
I mean, it's such a deep story. Let's just say, and we can talk about this, but it wasn't a hookup. It was a friend who sort of crossed the lines. I'll leave it there for now. But the most recent time I was here at the end of last year working on my book.
Which we'll get into
memoir,
a little
yeah.
later.
And I was here for 2 months, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the pace. It's black. It's a black ass city, but it's also, I don't know. For me, like being a Northeast hood ass dude, getting away from the North is just was a welcoming thing. I loved it. I fell in love with it. So now I'm here. I'll be between here and New York 2 weeks. And when I come here, I feel like I can breathe like I'm on vacation. Like I can let go of my self that's grinding every day in the city.
Why can't you do that in New York?
I mean, New York has a particular air about it, right? Like
A stinky air.
Don't do it.
I mean, it just New York just stinks to me.
Look, I'm not from New York. I'm from New Jersey, but
Camden.
from Camden, New Jersey. When I literally get off the plane in New York, and like I feel different. I feel anxious. I get on the A train, like after being here for 2 weeks, and I feel all types of anxiety. And I realized too, it is a little musty, but that comes with the territory.
Where does that anxiety come from? Why?
Because it's a metropolis full of people. For me, my work life is centered there. I mean, my office, events.
Do you feel more pressure to be Darnell Moore in New York and less pressure to be Darnell Moore in Atlanta?
Well, nobody knows me here. You know,
So-
but you know what's funny? Like, so as you say that, it's always so funny. Like to be Darnell Moore. Like who is Darnell Moore, right? Like I think there's this idea that each of us have these personas that are disconnected from ourselves. I don't know. That just makes me feel uncomfortable when I hear that. I'm myself wherever I go. What I do love though is I can like be invisible here. No, I don't know anyone.
Right.
Really, I can go to most places and just do me and not worry about like who's around. When I was here before, I spent most of my time alone. I spent 90% of my time alone, which is great. When I'm in New York, I got shit to do every day. There's an event I have to do. There's someone, and I think that's cool too. And it's always liquor at every damn thing. So I'm like,
It's always what?
liquor at everything.
Oh,
So I'm always
you're drinking too much.
Clearly, you see my drink on the table. I don't know. So I feel good here. I do, and it's cheaper, and the people are beautiful. And I sort of love the country. There's a generosity and kindness that people have here, but there's also like this sort of bougie quality here too. That's interesting to me that I'm starting to pick up on.
Do you think there's a class system that exists within the gays here in Atlanta?
I think in some people's minds there are. I think that for me, I don't really see it. I don't know if that's just because I'm just in my own little world, or it's because I've been in Atlanta for so long, but with Darnell just coming here and being to see it from a clean slate, maybe he sees it more. But
You know, they always call us elitists, so maybe you don't see it because you're at the top.
I'll take that too if that's the case. I don't know, but I do not play that. Yeah. We do not want to feed into that. So I think that classism do exist in people's minds, and I also think that it exists just as any, when you say birds of a feather flock together, I really think it's the same thing. You attract people that are like you, and 9 times out of 10 you attract the people that's going to be in the same social class, same financial class, and all of those things. So I think that it exists for the sake of attracting what you attract.
We are fearless.
We are mighty.
We are legendary. We are fierce. We are royalty.
The 6th annual Gentlemen's Ball celebrates the royalty deep down inside of us all.
That's right. And not only will we celebrate our kingship at the ball, this year we invite our LGBTQ sisters of color to acknowledge their queendom with the first ever Gentlewoman Awards.
Because why?
Because a true gentleman celebrates all. This year, we pay special tribute to the iconic ballroom community.
So join us for a night of royalty on Saturday, September 30th, 2017 at the Atlanta Marriott Marquis. For tickets, visit thegentlemensfoundation.org, and remember, crown yourselves because we
are royalty.
It's like whereas in the North, there's like, what's really obvious are like racial divides. What's really obvious to me here among black folk is class division. So like, there's like the blacks that are attempting to achieve a lot and have something, and then you got like those black folk looking down on the black folk that don't got shit. And even within the LGBT community, the gay community specifically, I feel like it's a lot about dressing up for appearances, like this idea of what you sort of represent through what you acquire. But then it's like, well, who the fuck are you inside?
First off, are you dating in Atlanta, and are you dating in New York? And have you found that there are differences between the people that you date here versus the people you date in New York?
That's such a fucking
3-part question.
That's a setup question.
Well, let's get into it.
So maybe the question I'll respond to is there a difference in dating?
Wait. Let's answer the questions in the order in which they were given.
I'm single. So that's that.
Right.
But that wasn't the question. The question was, are you dating?
There are people so in New York, here's the thing. I feel like because there's like, people perceive it to be a space where there's like so many potential folk that you can pull from. And
In New York.
In New York. And I think the mentality is, well, because there's always somebody else, the idea of like settling or building a family is further off.
That's the same thing they say here, that
The
everybody's
exact
gonna
same
put a
thing.
But you know what's funny though? What's funny though is I could never imagine myself starting a family in New York.
Why not?
Partially because I've been there. I've been in the Northeast all my life. I've had long relationships. The
You don't feel like you don't fucked everybody in New York? Is that why?
You gonna go Real Housewives of Atlanta or before?
No, it's not Housewives. I'm just asking.
I haven't, right? I haven't. I mean, I've had my fair share of people that I've talked to, people that I've been intimate with, people that I fucked around with.
Darnell is the perfect example of never judge a book by its cover. He is such a public person. He's a speaker, he's a writer, he's a media personality. You would think he would be so comfortable sitting on the couch talking to us, but he is the shyest guy you would ever meet.
Yeah, I think he's probably used to being on the other end where he's asking all the questions and maybe giving more of the intellectual, his intellectual opinion about different social cases. But when it comes to talking about his own personal self, got a little anxious.
Look, I don't want to be nobody's mentor or big brother. I don't want to be your bridge to like a fucking opportunity. Although that's my job, like in the world, that's how I operate, but not with someone I'm intimate with.
So how much of that is colored by actual actions of other people or just your own perception? Or your own perception?
I think it is, you know, it's a mix of both. It's both. It's past experiences. So my perceptions are based on my past experiences. And I also am aware of like how these things, how this shit works. You know,
What is this shit?
dating amongst, you know, other black men.
How does it work?
You know, I don't think this has anything to do with who we are in the world and our profession, but I think that we all have avatars that we present. And what I mean by thumbnails, profile pics, we have our multiple selves. And I am at the point in my 41-year-old life where I'm trying to pull back as many of those avatars as possible and be like my legitimate self.
Hello to all you lovers out there. Are you in a new relationship and you want to make sure that you guys are doing everything right to make it last?
And for you single lovers out there, are you tired of trolling social media looking for the partner of your dreams?
Or do you feel stuck in your current relationship, arguing over petty little things, not able to figure it out, and not even sure if you should be together or not?
Do you want to figure out why your relationships never work? Or have you given up on love completely?
If so, then love coaching is for you.
What is love coaching?
Love coaching is our term for relationship, dating, and life coaching services.
Love coaching helps you clarify your goals, determine what action steps you need to take to meet them,
Helps you overcome barriers and roadblocks along the way, and provides the support you need as you move towards success. Whether you are looking to bring back a struggling relationship,
or you're looking for help in the areas of love, intimacy, sexuality,
we can help you achieve your goals.
email booking@juanandg.com to schedule your consultation today.
Or log on to juanandg.com for more information.
Remember, our recipe for relationships is simple. Loving me,
Loving you, loving we.
love you all.
Like, how do you balance?
Well, I'm clear.
The two.
I'm clear that even if we exist in societies that create brands of us, that we don't have to be that.
That's a great
So, like,
way to put it. The society creates the brand.
all I fucking tried to do was good work. And most of that work is not anything that is public.
It's natural to want to always put your best self forward. We show up, people call it representatives. Darnell calls it his avatar. Sometimes they call it thumbnails. I think it's just natural. We all have different slices of ourselves, different parts of our being that we choose when to bring out and when to let out. And there's nothing wrong with wanting that best version of you to be your representative.
Right. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. I think where it does become wrong is when we start putting images of ourselves out that are not true, especially in the cases of just trying to impress other people. And in the world of social media, where it's easy for everybody to be a celebrity because of the likes you have, A lot of us tend to post pictures that they think are going to get the most likes.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the world of airbrushing and photoshopping and all those things, it's not a true representation of who we are. And so that just goes back to loving yourself. If you love yourself and all of who you are, now I use filters sometimes too, but everything don't have to be a filter.
You know, I do agree with what you're saying, but on the flip side, I also believe that in the world of social media, in this new and modern day age, our social media personality is a real personality. It may be fabricated, but it still maybe represents our desires. It may represent our past or give us a glimpse into our psychological disposition, but it's a part of us, whether made up, quote unquote, or realized and lived every day.
It's hard for me to believe still that I'm worth being like protected or worth being loved sometimes. But part of that, I mean, is not only like relational shit that happened to me with boyfriends, but it's some, you know, that's probably has much to do with growing up with my father being absent. But yeah, I'm growing finally. I mean, I feel like, damn, it took me a long ass time to like deal with something, like to see it and then try to work through some of it. Yeah. But trust issues for sure. Yeah, like I would say like insecurity and trust are probably the biggest.
Do you think that there's something?
I don't even go to guys first and like talk to them.
Well, that's most of us. We were just having that conversation. Like we look at each other in the corner of the room and just stay all night.
I won't talk to. I will not. I don't give a fuck.
Because of the fear of rejection.
Hell yeah. That and it's just like yeah.
You know, I think that oftentimes we shun the fear of rejection, but I think the fear of rejection is something to be welcomed because that means it's something we really, really want. And anything that we really, really want, we're going to be fearful of not having. So the fear of rejection is quite normal, but you're supposed to walk towards that fear and not away from it.
So I do think that black men trying to, like Joseph, you know, black men loving black men is a revolutionary act. That shit is not just revolutionary. If we can somehow do it, like that's some radical shit.
But you know what I think it is? A part of it, like I agree with what you're saying, but I think a major issue is that we don't even know that we don't love ourselves in the process of trying to love other people. Like I think we really go through life thinking we love ourselves. You know, we thinking we're taking care of ourselves.
Sometimes you do.
But I think I don't think on the level of like really.
Because I don't blame I'm not. My assessment is not a read of black people. I'm not. This is not a deficit read of us saying that we don't love ourselves. This is me saying that there is a world that doesn't love us. But I think that we can model that.
What I'm referring to is when you said, you know, in the process of loving someone else, you're in the process of trying to learn to love yourself. And I think that trying to learn to love yourself is often masked with, I do love myself.
Oh, sure.
You know, and so we're not even aware that we need to try to love
you know, a lot of us are even aware of ourselves to know who we loving. We're running away from ourselves.
And we know what do we mean by love? Like, what does that mean, right? Like, when I say now, you know, I had a thought just 2 days ago where I was sitting there, I was praying. And I was praying about love and, you know, some other things. And in the midst of that, I stopped. And I've spent so much energy in my life trying to love other people. Trying to love the hell out of other people, trying to be present and all that stuff. And I was like, wait, you know, I had a reminder like, no, you need to be praying for the love that's necessary for you.
the love that's what?
The love that I need to give myself. Because that shit's important. If I can't show up and love me, the potential that I can love you back is going to be minimal.
Little to none. So what does
that look like?
What is loving yourself for you? This is usually the last question, but what is self-love for you?
It's whatever I have employed to keep myself here at 41. Like, and I mean that. Like,
whatever.
That and that's everything from being able to look in the mirror and see my complete self with all of my, and I'm able to do that shit now. I wasn't always able to do it. Like, no one can ever look at me and be like, oh, motherfucker, this is why you got this, these are your bad shit. I am an expert on my fucked up shit.
Forgiveness is a personal experience. It's a personal journey. And we should always, in my opinion, work towards making that journey shorter and shorter and shorter whenever we feel we've been wronged by others or wronged by ourselves.
Yeah. I believe that to truly forgive is to truly try to understand. And you can't really have forgiveness until you truly try to understand why that person did what they've done. So the journey to forgiveness begins with understanding, and it does not take a lifetime. It can take a lifetime, but that's a personal choice, but it also can take as little as a moment.
So this month's Ask Juan and G question goes like this. Dear Juan and G, how do I get my family to accept me for being me? I am so afraid to tell them that I am gay because I always hear them talking bad about gay people. I know they will not love or accept me. What should I do?
Ooh. So my heart hurts for this young man. I think that you won't never really know if they will accept you. You can't make them accept you. I wish that you could. I think we all want our families to accept us for who we are. But the fact remains is that you will never be able to do that. The only thing that you are able to do is be true to yourself and accept yourself. I know that sounds really, really easy, but it's not, especially in a position where you're living in such fear of what your family will think of you. I don't know your situation, if they're taking care of you or anything like that. But my suggestion to you is to find someone, find a safe space, a safe person who you know will accept you for who you are, and let that be the first step of coming into yourself. I think it could be risky, depending on your situation, to come out to your family, because I don't know what your living situations are and what that can look like if they do reject you. But it's very important for you to put yourself in a safe environment, and when you do decide to come out to your family, be prepared for the fact that they might not accept you, and also be prepared to fully sustain and take care of yourselves in the case that they are taking care of you and they reject you and do not want to take care of you anymore.
I would say, first and foremost, know that you are perfect. You are amazing, just as you are, in all of your gayness and all of your differentness than your family. It's difficult. I grew up in a household where I heard my mother talking bad about gay people all the time. Faggot this, faggot that, faggot this, faggot that. And it caused me to run away, to distance myself, to not come around, because I was what she was talking about. So I empathize with where you're coming from. The way I dealt with it was to build myself up in a way that it didn't matter if I was accepted by them or not. I was secure enough, I was confident enough that when I did come out to my family, their response was their response, independent of me, because I loved me and I was okay with me being gay. So I didn't really need them to be okay with it. So try to reach for that level of self-love, and it will make your coming out process that much more easier.
Yeah. And I will add, lastly, is that I think a lot of times, and I'm not saying that your family will, is not the way that you say your family is, but a lot of times it's our own fear that is making up the stories in our head about what our family is, how our family will accept us. Now, granted, I know you may have heard them say bad things about gay people. That may be them trying to make sure you don't come out, because chances are a lot of our family know that we're gay. So I think that a lot of times they think they may be doing a justice to you by trying to push you back in the closet. But I think that by you being honest with yourself, when the time comes for you to be honest with yourselves, it gives them the opportunity to then look at gay in a different way. So
maybe you will even help them grow into really elevating their mind and what gay really is, and they won't have those stereotypes and those stigmas about gay people, but even become more accepting because you are being who you are and they love you.
We hope that helps. Continue to send us your questions. Email them to ask@juanandg.com. That's ask@juanandg.com.
Peace.
What's up, lovers? So look, we got so many emails, so many messages, so many comments wanting us to do another Singles in Atlanta episode. You guys have had so many questions for Brodney and Trip, and we are going to give you the chance to ask them. So on our next episode, we're going to do a Singles in Atlanta Part 2. We're bringing back Brodney and Trip, and we're also bringing back, but we're bringing on a couple of other singles, so you will get an earful of what it's like to be single in Atlanta. So if you have any questions you want us to ask Brodney and Trip, send them to ask@juanandg.com, ask@juanandg.com. Next episode, Singles in Atlanta, Part 2.
People always asking us what's the tea. It ain't no tea, baby, can't you see? Loving me, loving you, loving we. Love works with Juan and G.
It ain't no tea, baby.
What's the tea?
It ain't no tea, baby.
What's the tea?
It ain't no tea, baby.
What's the tea?
It ain't no tea. Love you all.